Hi everyone and welcome to a new semester. I am Dr. E. I'll be your professor moving forward for your English course. Whether you're in a British literature course or a composition class, I'm going to walk through what to expect in terms of how we will utilize D2L. We spend all of our time in the class within D2L in one way or another, so it's just helpful to get a sense of where to go, what to do, what a class looks like, especially if you're taking multiple online courses. Every professor is going to make some different choices. Everything will look a little bit different, and that can be pretty overwhelming. So this is just an opportunity for you to familiarize yourself with, okay, in English 1301 or in English 2323, this is what Dr. E has set up for us. So this is a course that you see on your screen from a previous semester, and that's a pretty intentional choice on my part. I want you to see what D2L looks like when there are various items already present. When we are working within our course, you'll see the items increase as the semester progresses, right? I don't have everything visible all at once because we are building on our assignments, we're building into modules. I do not have the whole class ready to go at the start. So if that's kind of the way you function best as a student, this may not be the course for you, but I can definitely recommend some professors who just like to have everything visible, ready to go. All assignments are there, everything is there. With our class, we essentially go week by week with modules. You'll get a schedule for the whole semester so you can kind of get a sense of where we're headed, but those assignments aren't necessarily available. Okay, so as you'll see in front of you, this is a British literature course, but again, if you're a composition student, everything will look very similar. So when you log in, make sure you're going to the home page. This is what our home page looks like. It tells you the course here, right? And then you'll see announcements. And this is a useful area just because if there are any reminders I want to offer, or if there are any kinds of online or virtual events that we have going on, you have that, the visual is right there when you log in, and you can expand here by showing all announcements. On the left-hand side, we have our Microsoft 365 widget. So this is where you will go to email and communicate, right? So we have the email function here. We have a calendar here that you can make use of. And then we have OneDrive. And OneDrive, I think, really should become something that is just a regularly used program for all of us because it is going to house all of our documents. It's a safe place to save all the work for your classes. But what I really want to emphasize is the fact that you can upload directly from OneDrive to D2L. So if you are familiar with using D2L from other online courses, you know that it can be kind of frustrating to use something like Google Docs or another cloud service because you can't necessarily upload items directly from Google Docs to submit in D2L, but you can with OneDrive. So make sure that you are kind of familiarizing yourself with OneDrive. If you click it, you may need to log in again using your Lone Star College credentials, so just be aware of that. Once it opens, it looks like any other kind of cloud storage system. You have, everything that's listed here on the left-hand side. In my files, what I've done is I've just created files for the different courses so that I know that I'm housing, everything in these areas. And I'm just saying, this is not a bad practice for you to use moving forward. If you have questions about how to do any of this, just know that there are various materials in D2L that will be helpful. So there is a whole section on D2L and tech help. There's a whole module with information about that. So you don't have to start from scratch. So if you're feeling overwhelmed already just by me going over this widget, don't worry, we have lots of resources. There's also a widget for Microsoft Teams, which is newer. You can click on this in your class and it will take you to Microsoft Teams. If you're not familiar with Teams, it's nothing to worry about just yet. If you want to click around and kind of get used to it, that's not a bad idea. And then as you scroll down, there are just different kinds of options. There is a visual table of content, which I really like because it just at a glance kind of gives you a sense of, what's available, right? So all of these modules are in the content area, but this is a more visual way to look at it. And when you see these little bars that show you like 4 of 21 topics completed, don't let that fool you. I have a lot of times students who see that bar and think, well, it said that I had 100% of these assignments completed, and I'm going, it's so confusing. D2L is kind of annoying in that way. It just shows you where you've visited. So out of the syllabus schedule and rubrics, I have recently visited and opened 4 of the 21 topics. It doesn't mean anything has been completed. So, you know, just be aware of that. So that's our main page, right? That's our main course page. If you go up to the top, we have course materials. I would say, you know, this is helpful, but this is not where we will access our course materials. So just be aware of that. There is a syllabus tab, again, helpful, but this is not where we will have full access to a kind of more functional syllabus. So in a pinch, if you need access, yeah, definitely click these things. Where we will spend a majority of our time is in the content area. Okay, so if you click on the content area, it will open and you'll see a list of modules listed on the left-hand side. So everything that's listed, these are all considered modules, right? So the table of contents is open right now, but then you'll see like we have a start here module, we have a book information and additional readings module. If you ever have questions about the syllabus, if you ever have questions about the schedule, any rubrics for the course, all of those class-specific materials will be housed in this module. There's one on student success. There's one specifically for MLA. I mean, you know, we're in English courses. We got to have something. And so there are a lot of materials in here that can be helpful. And then, as I mentioned previously, here is that D2L and Tech Help module. So if you click on that, how to use OneDrive, how to videos for Google Docs. There's a link to VLAC. Y'all, if you have not bookmarked VLAC, do so now, immediately. This is one of those, like, this is a link that you will use time and again when it comes to being a student at Lone Star College. This is an area that has answers for just everything. Okay, so it has, you know, what are all the questions you have to start the semester? There are videos, there's helpful information, not to mention that the main page that's pulled up is if you have an IT question. I'm going to say this now, and I'll probably have to reiterate it throughout the semester because it's just the nature of how we function in the course. I am not a tech expert. If you reach out to me because you're having a problem with submitting an assignment, or if something isn't visible for you, or whatever the case may be, I am going to feel very strongly and sympathize and empathize with you, but I'm going to say, you got to go to IT. Like, they're the people who it is likely a very quick fix, and you can just have a quick chat with them and they'll help you. Yeah, as much as I want to be able to fix all those problems, chances are I'm not going to be able to. So it's very easy to just, you know, click into VLAC and go here. Same with the librarian. They have, you know, you can check on a ticket if you've submitted it, but it has everything. You know, if you have questions about submitting assignments, if you have questions about, you know, anything. So bookmark VLAC now. It's going to help. Okay. So going back to the table of contents, just make sure you're clicking around and exploring. 9 times out of 10, students are going to feel overwhelmed in the first week of an online class. And, you know, feel overwhelmed with a new semester in general. And that is normal. If you're feeling that way, just take a deep breath and know that part of this is just familiarity. Just take some time to click around and see where things are housed, and know that there's no way, shape, or form that you should have any of this memorized, right? This is one of those times when, yes, everything is labeled here on the left-hand side, but, you know, if you're in a panic, you may not think, oh, my syllabus is in this module. Just take some time to click around and get familiar. And also, if you want to, download different documents to OneDrive so that you have them. Download the Microsoft Outlook app and everything to your phone if you feel like you need to be a bit more connected when you're not sitting in front of your tablet, your computer, that kind of thing. Make this as easy on you as possible, but also know that, we're going to take this one day at a time, one week at a time. And that's when we get into, our actual weekly modules. So we have all of these things to help here. And then we will have everything loaded in a particular week that, pertains to assignments due that week, readings that we need to do that week, all of that. This is also going to be contained in the schedule for the whole semester, but I will then break it down into a weekly kind of, that's how we're eating this elephant of a semester is one bite at a time. It's 1 week at a time. So you'll see everything located here. And then if you scroll down, there's always going to be the Q&A link for a discussion post. If you have any questions, you as students can jump in and help one another out. I will be there to not only, answer questions, but also monitor if somebody else has kind of, come in and answered a question. I just want to make sure everybody's getting the right information. Each week will also have, everything broken down into 3 sections. There's going to be to watch, to review, and then to do. So any videos pertaining to this week will be loaded here. Anything to review, like the syllabus or the schedule or any documents, rubrics, anything related to that week will be here. And then anything we actually need to do is going to be here. Again, a check mark is here. That doesn't necessarily mean that everything has been completed. In addition, this doesn't mean that work has actually been completed. It just means that 2 of the 8 topics have been visited. So if you go and open something, it will bump up this percentage. So don't be fooled. Okay. So, we have the discussion, all of this kind of stuff. So those are our weekly modules. Again, we'll go week by week. So you're not going to see all of these weeks for you because that can just be very overwhelming. For me as a professor, I can only function week to week. Like my brain can't go beyond that. I can't plan beyond that. You do have, again, that schedule for the whole semester. I typically start each semester with about 4 to 5 weeks set up, and then we'll see how things go, right? Especially if there are new kinds of assignments I'm trying out. I need to see how our pace should work. So our our schedule will be updated, but we're typically starting with about 5 weeks at a time. What I really want everybody to start with, of course, is the Start Here module, and that's where everything is kind of laid out in a fashion that's pretty approachable, has visuals. You're watching what will be the welcome video, walking you through D2L. More information on me if you'd like that. Quick details about online office hours, how to reach out. There is a student lounge chat where you can go and post anything. I don't access that information, so you can start a new thread, ask questions there. It's for you, right? And then there's the Q&A section where, of course, I will visit. You can also post anonymously in these areas if you're feeling a little nervous about that. Of course, there's no judgment regardless, but I know it can be a little overwhelming at first. Everything will be here in terms of the syllabus, schedule, and calendar, in addition to everything being here, because it's just nice to come in and see that right there and you can click on it. But in the Start Here module, everything will be here as well. Check your tech, frequently asked questions. So this is just meant to be kind of things that will help you start off the semester, knowing where to go and what to do, with the understanding that it just takes time. It just takes time to get used to everything and where everything is housed. Everything is in the weekly modules, but again, if you want to take a look at, the assignments, you can go to the assignments this way as well. You can go to the discussions in this way as well. So D2L can be overwhelming because there are various kinds of steps and ways to access information. But what I really try to encourage students to do is just stick to the content area and those weekly modules, because everything should be housed within those. And as the weeks progress, you'll start to get more and more confident and comfortable with clicking around and finding things in a way that maybe is easier to you, right? So sometimes you're just going to want to access discussions this way, or go to WebEx to set up meetings this way. Just know that if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, things will get better, things will get easier. The more you log in, the more you check out, the easier it will become. So Good luck this semester, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or concerns as we get started. All right, good luck.